Welcome to the very first episode of the Completely Random Foolishness podcast, hosted by me, Asian. I'm so excited. You have no idea how excited I am to finally get this thing going. Finally. Because, I just gotta throw this out there. In June, I mistakenly said that I was going to have my podcast out on a particular date. Because I had scheduled things out and I said, this is how I want them to go. This is when I'm going to record. This is when I'm going to edit. This is when I'm going to release it. And this is how I'm going to do it. Except I didn't realize at the time that there would be so many stumbling blocks along the way. There was just wall after wall after wall after wall. And I kept hitting walls. I just kept hitting them. And it frustrated me to no end. But we're here now. We're here. So if you see me looking down, I am looking at my little podcast notebook with all my notes and outlines and all of that. So before we get started today, let me just take care of some housekeeping. What is this? What is Completely Random Foolishness? It is, well, duh, it's a podcast, but what exactly does that mean? When I created this, I said one thing. If there's one thing that I know, this is what it is. I want this to not fit in a box. I want this to be whatever topic I want to talk about, whatever I'm feeling, whatever is going on and I feel like it needs to be said, I want to be able to say it without having to fit inside of this mold. If that makes sense. And so I wrote sort of like a little mission statement, and this is what I want this to be. It says, an unpredictable podcast dedicated to making you laugh and think. And those are two things that in life I like to do. I like to make people laugh and I like to make people think. And I feel like that this is a great way to do it. This is a great place to just talk to people and to share thoughts and opinions. And just as a creative person, this really helps me to just kind of get things out there. I feel like sometimes in film and photography, which are my two main creative focuses right now, I feel like that it's sometimes harder to get the point across than it is to just talk. So that's why we're here. I just want to talk. I just want to talk. Also, I'll do this now. 3 people that I want to shout out because I feel like that they have been the biggest help. They've really helped the most with this podcast. And that is number 1, my dad, who created this wonderful intro that you just heard and the outro that you're going to hear at the end of the podcast. He has helped me with equipment and he's helped me with coming up with ideas and branding and just so many things for this podcast. And not just this podcast, but just in general with every endeavor that I want to start. He's always there. So thank you. Thank you to my dad. The second person that I want to shout out is my friend Homero. And I'm shouting him out because a couple years ago when I said I wanted to create a podcast, I was really nervous. And I was saying, is anyone really going to listen? Is this a stupid idea? Like, should I? And I told him about it and I said, hey, I want to create a podcast. And he goes, yeah, do it. Go for it. And I felt so much better. So over the years, every time I've had a new idea, I'm like, hey, what do you think about this for the podcast? What do you think about that? He's always been there to listen, give his input, and support. And so thank you, Homero. Without you, I never would have even done this. And the third person I want to shout out is my creative mentor, Kevin Colby. He has listened to every rant that I've had about this podcast, every frustration, every single time that I hit a wall, every time that I said, this isn't good enough, he was like, yes, it is. So thank you, Kevin, for your support and giving me ideas and all of that stuff. So now that we've got all of that out the way, let me just say that I had a completely different topic to talk about today. But something happened last week. Exactly. Well, by the time that this comes out, it won't have been last week. But on August 23rd, I celebrated my 20th birthday. I celebrated my 20th birthday, and this birthday hit me differently than my other birthdays hit me. And that was because I said, wow, I can't actually call myself a teenager anymore. Like I'm 20. And it was so strange because all of a sudden I felt this, I don't know, this rush or this, I don't really know what to call it, but I felt like I had to hurry up and start getting my life together because technically I'm an adult, and that's just so weird for me to say because I still feel so fresh and new and young and just generally naive about the way life works. And so I felt my anxiety rising up, and I can tell that when my anxiety starts to do that, I'm gonna spiral out of control. So I had to quickly get myself together and say, okay, Asia, all right, so you're 20. Big deal. You are okay, you are fine, and you're in no rush to figure things out and get your life together. Like, you have the rest of your life to do that. You don't have to do it all now. And so I sat down and I made a list of 20 things that I've learned in 20 years because this list represents that I was there, but now I am here because I have learned, I have grown. And so no matter how little or big the progress is, it's still progress, right? Right. Therefore, the list. So I figured, I was reading through the list and I said, wow, this would make a great podcast topic if I shared this list with you of all of the things that I wrote down. And so without a further of ado, I give you 20 things I've learned in 20 years. All right, number 1. Stop comparing yourself to people and where they are in life. That's the main thing that had me writing this list in the first place. And it was because I kept feeling like I was behind. I don't have my driver's license yet. I felt behind. I took a year break out of school and I felt behind. You know, I was so caught up in graduating a certain year, like, you know, my classmates, because we graduated high school in 2016, so by 2020 we should have been out. And at the college that I was originally going to, I would have actually graduated in 2019. And so after I left that school and I decided to take a break from school, just because of some personal things that were going on, you know, it started to get to me because I would spend my days at home and I couldn't get a job, and I felt so genuinely behind other people. And let me put it like this. So when I was in the 7th, 8th, and in the 9th grade, I ran track, and my coach had me run distance. So for the mile, she told us, you have to pace yourself. Everyone's gonna run at a different pace, but just because the person who was at the lead at the beginning of the race is in the lead then doesn't mean that they're going to be in the lead by the end of the race. Because, you know, say they get to the 3rd lap and they start to slow down because they're tired, they've been running hard, but another person who's been running a little bit slower, by the time they get to the 3rd lap, they might be pushing ahead of that other person because they've hit their stride. You know, everyone is going to finish the race eventually, but we're all going to finish it at different times and at our own pace. And just because you look like you're behind someone doesn't mean that you actually are. We are all different people, and we're made to do different things at different times, and there's no rush. Now, in a race, yeah, there's a rush, and I always came in last place because I walked. I didn't run. I ran like the 1st lap, and then by the time I got to the 2nd lap, I was tired, so I walked. And I'm pretty sure my team hated me for that, but that's a different story. Number 2, forgive people and move on. It's not worth holding on to grudges and hurt because, you know, bitter people are the worst. Bitter people are not fun to be around. And, you know, I understand that it takes some time to move on from hurt and from people that have hurt you, but holding a grudge on someone, especially when they've asked for your forgiveness. And it depends on the severity of the situation, of course, too. But generally, when someone asks for your forgiveness, you forgive them and you try your best to move on from it. Even if you are still hurt from it, it's not worth being bitter about it and being hurt, because who are you hurting? It's not them, it's you. You are the one making yourself miserable at this point. Move on. Number 3, laughter is the best medicine. And it sounds like a cliche, and that's because it is a cliche, but it's a true cliche. I'm gonna give you an example, a story. I love stories. So one year in middle school, like usual, my brother and I got up and we got ready for school, and we had to get up a little bit earlier because it was a 20-minute drive to this school. Where was that? So we get ready to leave and we walk out of the door, and my dad's gonna drive us there like he does, because there's no bus at this school. And honestly, my brother and I never rode the bus to school, but at this school you have to be a car rider. So we go outside and there's no car. It's just gone. And I look at my dad and I look at my brother and they look at me, and we start laughing because my dad says, well, I guess they came and got the car. We were, at that point in our lives, we were at a rough spot financially, and they had come and repossessed the car overnight. So, we could have been torn up about it. We could have been upset. I could have said, hey, I'm missing school. My dad could have said, hey, I'm missing work, and all that stuff. But there was nothing, being upset about it wasn't going to change the fact that the car was gone. So why make the situation more miserable? We laughed and we instantly felt better. We went inside and we watched movies and played games, and eventually my dad got his car back. He was able to somehow pay enough to get it back, and life continued. Life goes on. So it's worth it to just laugh. And you can ask my friends and stuff. They all know that I like to laugh. I laugh at stupid stuff. I laugh at things that aren't really that funny. I laugh at situations that probably shouldn't be laughed at. I just like to laugh. That's just me. Number 4, walk to the beat of your own drum. Let me repeat that. Walk to the beat of your own drum. Be you. There are so many people that run around trying to be like someone else, when the best thing that you could ever possibly do is just be you. There's only one of you, no matter if you're a twin, if someone looks like you, your cousin, your sister, your aunt, maybe they act like you, but there's only one you. And you are made to be you. You have a purpose. That purpose is your purpose. It is no one else's purpose. It's yours. You are you. And I cannot stress that enough. It's so easy to run around and be a lookalike or a copy of someone else. That's fine if you want to dress up and be somebody on, on Halloween or Comic-Con. That's different. But obviously, but you don't have to follow the trends that you see other people, what they wear, what they listen to, what they look like, how they act. You don't have to do that. You don't. And you might look like an outcast for it, but originality is key. Honestly, originality is something that's very, very rare these days. Very rare. So I encourage everyone, I implore you to just be yourself, no matter how much other people might look like they don't like it. It doesn't matter, because who are you trying to impress? You've got no one, really. Does it really matter? It doesn't. Number 5. No matter how old you get, don't forget how to be a kid. And I say that not like be immature, but I say that don't forget how to have fun. Don't forget how to let loose, and don't be so uptight about everything. There are situations where you can be serious, and of course you should know when to be serious and when to not be serious. But more often than not, adults will forget what it's like to just experience life and laugh and just have fun. Of course, if things are going to have bad consequences, you don't want to do that. But for the most part, there are so many times where you don't have to be so serious about everything. You can just live. Just live. That's all. I don't really need to take that any further than just live. Number 6. If you fall, if you trip, don't try to play it off. just don't do it. It's so awkward to watch people trip and then try to be cool and act like it didn't happen. We all saw it. Just own up to it. Like, you fell. That's one of the times where I say don't be so serious. And that's also another one of my points. Laugh. Laughter is the best medicine. Just laugh it off. There was this time where my brother and I and a bunch of other people had gone to help my aunt move things from one house to another house, all her furniture and like her belongings and all that stuff. So there was this guy who was helping us move, and he was coming down the steps holding a box. So as he walked down the first step, his foot, like his ankle, turned to the side, and he never quite like regained his step. So as he stepped down with his other foot did the same thing, and all the way down the steps his ankles were rolling and he looked like he didn't quite catch his balance. So by the time he got to the end, he hopped down off the last step and he tried to walk like it did not happen. And my brother and I looked at each other, and what do you think we did? We cracked up laughing. And I didn't want him to see me laugh because I didn't know him that well, and I guess that would have been kind of rude. When I turned my back, you know that laugh that you get when you laughing so hard that there's nothing coming out of your mouth and you're just kind of like moving? That was me. Oh gosh. So if he had just, not tried to play it off, it would have just made it so much better. Alright, number 7. Take some time for self-care. And that can come in a number of ways. Me personally, self-care is when I invest in like a good skincare routine. So I use face mask and alcohol wipes, facial toners, pore cream, just a variety of different things. And to me, having good and healthy skin on my face, and all of my skin actually, that is something that really calms me down and makes me feel better. So I enjoy that. I also enjoy listening to my favorite songs like in a bubble bath, or just at night. I'll put in my headphones, lay in the dark on the bed, and just listen to music, and it's really relaxing. And I think of that as self-care, because it's taking your mind away from the stresses and the worries, and just focusing on things that make you happy. Also, something that I consider self-care is eating healthy. You don't think of it as going on a diet, just think of it as a healthy lifestyle. It's, you feel so much better and you have so much more energy when you put the right things in your body. And I never realized just how much it was true that junk food is bad for you until I stopped eating so much junk food and I started eating healthier. I'm anemic, so a big problem that I had was obviously iron deficiency, but also lack of energy. I was so lethargic all the time, and I felt dead inside all the time, every day. No matter how much sleep I got at night, I woke up tired. I spent the entire day yawning and tired. And I noticed that when I started to eat healthier, I felt better. It also came with taking iron pills and other various vitamins. But for the most part, one thing that really helped was to just eat healthier. Less portions, less junk food. And that doesn't mean I don't enjoy the occasional strawberry milkshake from Chick-fil-A and the occasional cheesecake from Cheesecake Factory and the occasional full rack of ribs from Texas Roadhouse with french fries and a whole lot of bread. But at the same time, you have to know when enough is enough, and you have to eat in moderation. So think about that, and remember that self-care can really help boost your attitude. And as someone who dealt with a lot of anxiety, self-care just really lowered my anxiety levels and helped me relax and calm down. Number 8 is make some lasting memories. Try new things, explore. I don't really have to explain that one too much. Just go out and have fun and try to do things that you've never done before, because new life experiences are something that you can put in your little photo book in your head and just look back on and say, wow, I can't believe I did that. And it just, makes your life richer, more full, more adventurous. Explore, even if you don't have the money to travel, explore local places in your area that you've never been before. There are some pretty beautiful places around me that I would have never even considered going to had I not stopped to check and say, wow, I can't believe that I actually had this here, and just gone. So that's something. Number 9 is go see your favorite bands and your artists live. It is so worth it. Concerts are addicting. And it's the rush you get from being right there. You're so close. And it just feels good. One regret that I have is that I never got to see my favorite band live. I remember one year, this was in like 2012, 2013, they announced that they were going to be in North Carolina. It was either Greensboro or Charlotte, and that's so close to me. I should have just gone, but I didn't go, and they ended up breaking up. They disbanded the following year. They announced their 2 final shows, and they haven't played together since. I was heartbroken, but all that would have been avoided had I just gone to see them when I had the opportunity. Just go. Save up your money, go to concerts, go see them live. You'll really appreciate it later in life. Number 10. Sorry guys. But number 10, one thing I've learned. Androids are better than iPhones. They just are. I'm so sorry, but iPhones suck. Apple is not as good as Samsung. I have a Samsung Note 8, and it's quite wonderful. I just got to throw that out there. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Number 11, take a break from social media for a while. I know I just talked about my phone, but it is so refreshing, so rejuvenating, and such a wonderful self-care tip is to just take a break from social media. Every once in a while, I'll go a week or 2 and I won't get on any social media of any type, and I experience life more that way. When you think about how much time you spend on your phone, there are so many other things that you could do. The time that I spend in the morning going to Instagram to look at other people's pictures, I could be taking pictures myself. I could be working on my photography. I could be honing in my own skills, and I could be doing anything. I could be playing my guitar, I could be reading a book, I could be doing anything else than just like looking at other people's lives. You see what I'm saying? It's such a toxic thing to spend so much time looking at what other people have, because typically on social media, people flaunt their best features. They don't talk about their bad days. They don't talk about their bad pictures and the bad moments. It's just the good stuff. You only see the good stuff, and it leads to a lot of comparison. You start to believe that this person has more than I do. This person is better than I am. And that doesn't really go for everybody, but I really encourage you, if you're a person who, when you wake up in the morning and the first thing you do is look at your phone, I encourage you to try not doing it. You could meditate in the morning. I don't know, just stay off your phone so much. Number 12, don't be afraid to let go of toxic friendships. This is a big one. There are so many times in your life you will have people that are seasonal friends or seasonal people. I call them that because they're only there for a season. They're not supposed to be there forever. Just because they were good to you and good for you in this part of your life doesn't mean that you can take them into the next part of your life. You cannot grow if you have people holding you back. You cannot. So I got really passionate about that for a second, because I have had so many instances in my life where I should have just let go of toxic friendships, people who were putting me down, holding me down, and all that and above. And also, let me throw this out there too, while we're on the topic. If you decide to let someone back into your life who has done you wrong, who has been a toxic person, if you truly believe that they have changed and that you can benefit from their friendship or whatever it is, then I say don't be afraid to put them on probation. A probationary period. Is that a word? I don't know. But yeah, I've had to do it. I have had to do it. I have decided that I was going to cut someone out of my life because of the toxicness of the whole situation. And this person came back to me looking like a changed person and looking like it was no longer going to be the same situation that it was before. And I had to sit and I had to think about it, and I had to really, really think about it. And I said, okay, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to trust that this person is going to change and is going to be good for me in this part of my life. And so I put them on probation. And it's basically just, I'm not giving you my full trust back until you can prove to me that that you like have earned my full trust. I'm not putting you back. I'm not elevating you to the same level that you were before. You're going to be a couple of notches lower because of what has happened. So don't be afraid to do that, because that is a great way to make sure that the same thing doesn't happen all over again. Number 13, don't apologize for things that you're passionate about unless, let me make this clear, unless you are passionate about something creepy, like taking pictures of people when they shower. That is creepy and you should apologize for that. But if you are passionate about, I don't know, a movie, maybe there's a band that you like or a hobby that you have that you're very passionate about, you don't have to feel bad or feel stupid for liking the things that you do. And I remember going through a phase in a period in my life where I was embarrassed to talk about the things that I like because I felt like other people were going to look at them and see them as stupid, which might happen. However, that shouldn't deter me from liking those things. Do you see what I'm saying? And if you are the type of person that shuts people down when they start to talk about things that they're passionate about, don't be that person. Be kind. Because if someone is talking to you about something that they truly enjoy, chances are 9 times out of 10 they're telling you about it because they want you to share in it. And even if you don't want to share in it, it's because they're happy about it and they want you to be happy about it as well. And if someone is wanting you to be happy, what do you have to complain about? Like, honestly, like, why are you even mad? Why are you shutting them down? Don't do that. You make a person feel stupid. And just, that's something that needs to, like, we need to kill that. We need to stop that. Stop making people feel stupid for the things that they like. I don't care if you absolutely hate the thing that they're coming to you to talk about. If they're talking about it nonstop, then of course there's a limit where you can say, okay, that's enough. But don't just immediately shut someone down or make them feel dumb about it, because, there are probably some things that you enjoy or that you like that other people don't, and that they find kind of stupid too. So keep that in mind. Number 14, make connections, network. You can go so far just through networking, and that's not to say that you don't go far from hard work and from patience and doing things yourself. But a lot of the times you can do all of these things. You can put in so much hard work and so much effort and so much time and energy into something, and all it takes is for you to get your foot in the door. And then finally, well, my camera stopped recording. But I was saying, sometimes all it takes is for you to get your foot in the door after you put in so much hard work and so much energy and it still seems like you're going nowhere. Sometimes it just takes someone, what am I saying? It just takes someone that's already there to pull you in. You just got to know, sometimes it's just about knowing the right people. Number 15, believe in yourself. Don't always be so self-deprecating. Have pride in the things that you do and in the work that you do, and be confident in yourself. And that sounds like a children's song, like believe in yourself, but it's true. I'm really guilty for this, honestly. I would create something. Like I said, I'm a creative person, and there are so many things that I have created over my 20-year span of life. But one thing that I had to learn to stop doing was to stop being so hard on myself. I have a friend named Austin, who we worked on film projects together, and after we would do it, he would say, "Hey, that was really good," and I would be like, "No, stop, it's not, I hated it." And he got so tired of telling me to stop, hating my work. Have some pride in what I do. Don't be too proud. There's a difference between bragging and humbly knowing that you're good at something. You can be confident but not be overconfident, and that's like, you need to find the happy middle. You need to find a line. There's a balance. Find it. Ride that line. Just don't get on either side. Just stay in the middle. Number 16. This kind of falls in with an earlier one. Remember when I said that Android is better than iPhone? Yeah, I learned that Xbox is better than PlayStation. It just is. Just take my word for it. I've had both, and I've thoroughly, 100%, like 10 times more, have enjoyed Xbox more than PlayStation. Just take my word. Number 17 is appreciate your friends and family while they're here. So I had a grandmother who lived to be over 100 years old, and she passed away earlier this year. And it was really sad because I thought about all those times that I said I was going to go see her, and I never did. Now, granted, I don't have a car, and so I'm at the mercy of other people to take me where I want and need to go. But I feel like that's not an excuse, because if I had really, really, really wanted to go and had my heart set on going, I would have found a way to get there, to see her more often. And I don't have but a few memories of her, just because I didn't see her as much as I didn't go and see her as much as I should have gone to see her. And that's really sad. You can't appreciate someone, you can appreciate someone after they're gone, but it's not the same as appreciating someone while they're here. When someone passes away, it's cool to Photoshop them in some clouds with the angel wings and put it on Facebook and be like, RIP. That's cool. But there's nothing like actually taking time to spend time and to love and to support and to appreciate the people while they're still in your life. And that doesn't just apply to people who die, but that applies to people who are here in your life now, because situations change. And I say that like this. I had a friend who lived 2 or 3 minutes from me, and yet I saw her once every few months. Now she doesn't live 2 or 3 minutes away from me. She lives 2 or 3 states away from me. And so she's here, she's alive, but she's not here. And so the situation has changed, and I should have appreciated her and the closeness, the distance that we had between us. It was very short. I should have appreciated that more and not taken that for granted while she was still here. Because now I'm in North Carolina and she's not. So it's really kind of hard to see her now. Number 18, you can't please everybody. And not everyone is going to like you. This is something I definitely had to learn the hard way. 6th grade, I keep bringing up middle school, but 6th grade, there was this girl who did not like me. And to this day, I still don't know why she didn't like me. This 6th grade was the first year that I had ever encountered actual bullying. Like, there were people who would like playfully or sometimes mean would like say teasing things or pick on me or whatever, but it just kind of like rolled off my back because it didn't really matter. But this girl was just hateful for no reason. It didn't really make sense, and she was so hateful that even the people that I was friends with in the 6th grade would like join in with her when she was being hateful. And it just made me, it made me really sad, because I felt like, I hadn't done anything wrong. I just existed and she hated me. So I spent most of my 6th grade year trying to make her like me, trying to please her, trying to do the things that I thought would make her treat me better. And she never did. So I wish that I had just spent my time ignoring her and just being myself in the 6th grade. I would have not wasted, all that time would not have been spent wasted trying to get her to like me. So, number 19, getting to the end. Respect can take you far. Now, I know a lot of people say you have to give respect to get it, and I get that. I believe in that, and I think that is true. However, there are certain situations where you just have to be the bigger person. And even if a person is disrespecting you, you just have to be respectful back, because it can take you so very far. So very, very far. Let's say that this person has been really disrespectful to you, and you haven't been disrespectful to them back. You have done the right thing. There is nothing on your part that anyone can say you've done wrong, because at this point, this person has just been rude to you and disrespectful to you, and for no reason, basically. And so that just makes them look stupid, and you look like the better person in this situation because you have done the right thing despite what others have done to you. And so it's really simple. Just sometimes think about that. Give respect even when you know you're not getting it back. The last one, the very last one, drum roll please. Number 20. This is the biggest one on the list, I feel like. Well, I said that before, but I'm gonna say this is one of the biggest things on the list. Happiness is not circumstantial, nor is it situational. I had to read what I wrote. Couldn't think of the word. Okay, let me say it again for the ones in the back. Happiness is not circumstantial, nor is it situational. It is a choice. It is a choice. You have to choose to be happy. Choose to have joy, even when things are going wrong. And that is why so many people fall into depression and stay there, because their situation doesn't change. And that's where I was. I dealt with depression and anxiety for years because I never got a hold of this truth. And the truth is that you cannot be happy if you don't choose to be. And I know that someone told me that, and I was like, I'm not trying to be sad, I don't want to be sad. I don't want to deal with depression. Like, what is that to say to someone who is sad? Just choose to be happy. Just be happy. But it's true. It really is. It's just a change in mindset, because a lot of the time your situation is going to stay the same for quite some time, and you can either choose to live in it miserably or choose to live in it happily. Think about, there are people who live in other places that are in worse situations than you are in. I know of a family in Africa that I met personally who was dealing with all types of things. They didn't have a home to live in. They were hungry all the time. The mother had had children and her husband died, and she was left without anything to like really help with her family. And it was just her and her babies out on the street, and they were hungry. And it was just, everything was dirty. It was a really bad situation. When the mother got sick, the girl, like there was a little girl, she's about 7 or 8 years old. She was taking care of her baby sister. And I don't really know of any 7 or 8 year old who wants to just be taking on that motherly but still sisterly role. That's really hard. That's something really hard to deal with. Yet they were some of the happiest people I've ever met. And their situation was not good. It wasn't. So it made me stop and think and say, hey, wait a minute, your situation is not nearly as bad as theirs. I have home, I have food, like I've never gone without food. So I can't imagine what it's like to be hungry, especially to be a mother and have hungry children. It's got to be horrible. But my point is that they were happy despite their situation. So the one thing that I wish that I had gotten a hold of was to just choose to be happy despite all the things in my life that weren't where I wanted them to be or weren't what I wanted them to be. I feel like I wasted so much time. So there you have it. Those are 20 things that I've learned in 20 years. It's a lot. It's a lot. And I hope that this sheds some light to you in some way. Maybe not all of them, but maybe at least one of them has helped you. Really hope so. Like I said, next week's topic isn't going to be anywhere near like this one. Every topic is going to be different. So let me just, I'm new to this. I need to find my podcast outro. I don't even know what I'm supposed to say. Wow. Oh, there it is. Alright. That's all for this episode of Completely Random Foolishness. Make sure you come back next week for more. We're going to have something every Thursday. It's always going to be something different. Sometimes I'm going to have guests, special guests, friends, family, other people that I feel like can share some funny and insightful stories and other stuff with you guys. And I hope that you enjoy this because I did. I will see you hopefully. Well, I won't see you, but you'll see me hopefully next week. Thank you and bye. See you next time.